Hi everyone, Slam Tanner here. The internet's busiest music nerd. And it's time for a review of the new Macklemore album, Gemini. Macklemore is a Seattle rapper. This is his latest full-length album. Officially splitting off from super producer Ryan Lewis on this thing. The guy who helped put Macklemore on the map by giving him the instrumentals to the songs that he broke into the mainstream with, like Wings and Thrift Shop. Now, I enjoyed their debut album together, The Heist. I thought it was relatively solid. I realized that Macklemore, when he blew up afterwards, he sort of became an unexpected figurehead for things like same-sex marriage, thanks to the song Same Love. And I understand that he caught some heat for that, but like, he did not anticipate for that track or this entire record to blow up. He made all of this material before he and Ryan were even really relevant. It wasn't till the Thrift Shop music video that was released long after the album had actually dropped where he blew up. However, there was like a bit of added outside pressure because Macklemore's rise to popularity was just so fast. And I don't really think he handled much of it all that gracefully, especially as he was being so annoyingly apologetic for winning a Grammy over Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid, Mad City. Which, yeah, it's the better hip-hop record, but just like, it's a Grammy. You know, it doesn't mean anything. I do admire him for keeping it independent and doing things on his own terms, even as the quality of his music kind of dropped off on his next record with Ryan. And I don't know, I mean, the singles leading up to this new record over here, they were kind of unsurprising and generic, like nothing really stuck out to me. Didn't seem like Macklemore was trying to make all that much in the way of a serious political statement, which is kind of odd because everything seems more political than ever in this day and age. So I find it kind of ironic that Macklemore really seems like he's trying super hard to avoid anything political on this new album. But, you know, I'm just kind of riffing here because honestly, it's kind of hard to organize my thoughts about this album because it's just so truly bad. Like, this is the worst thing Macklemore has done. I know Macklemore got a bad rap before for being corny and wearing his heart on his sleeve and trying too hard to put politics into his music and da-da-da-da-da. But this album is really just inexcusable and kind of just gets me thinking, what happened? This album is a mix of large, grand, epic, horn-backed rap anthems, something that you would typically expect from Macklemore, but it kind of just seems like a lesser version. It's less over the top. It's less awe-inspiring, just kind of seems smaller scale. It's almost like I'm listening to B-sides and leftovers from his last record, especially the intro track featuring Foxy Shazam's Eric Nally, whose shrill, screaming voice right at the start of the album is like one of the worst auditory experiences on the entire project. And then when we get to Glorious featuring Skylar Grey, it's almost like I'm just listening to Macklemore rip himself off. And when he's not ripping himself off on this thing, he's ripping off other artists who have much trendier sounds. Like on the song Marmalade, which just kind of seems like a carbon copy of the song Broccoli by Dram right down to the Lil Yachty feature. Even the plinky piano is here in the beat. Given the flute isn't in the instrumental, but there is quite a bit of auto-tune on the vocals. Like, it just seems really apparent that Macklemore had a particular song in mind when he made this track. Shout out to Dram though, he's not gonna sue. Shout out to Dram. The song 10 Million has some pretty meaningful lyrics on it, but I can't help but just get distracted from the fact that many of the verses just sound like he's pulling from Drake a little too hard. Meanwhile, the beat on Over It sounds like an Imagine Dragons instrumental that instead of exploding gloriously on the hook, it just kind of farts. The song Fire Breather is yet another cut I don't think is that bad from a flow standpoint or a lyrical standpoint, but the beat features this shoddy guitar riff that is a total ripoff of Jimi Hendrix's Foxy Lady. I mean, that's it. It just sounds like I'm listening to a dollar store version of Foxy Lady. And the featured rapper on Corner Store sounds exactly like Chance the Rapper. Like, Jesus Christ. He didn't even try not to sound like Chance the Rapper. I mean, it's obvious that he's trying to sound like Chance the Rapper. I was actually surprised when I looked at the feature credits and he wasn't Chance the Rapper. I mean, at first I thought, wow, Chance is on this thing? He sounds a little weird, but I don't know.
Benz in the Benzo, got the swisher out the window, then we dip.
Like, it's so painfully obvious that he's trying to get the instrumental to rip off The Social Experiment too. I mean, almost every guest singer on this record sounds like a faceless version of a more popular artist. I guess I just don't get how Macklemore has the guts to so blatantly recycle every relevant idea coming from his contemporaries on one single album, and yet rap about how there's like no father to his style. So we have tracks that sound like runoff from other rappers, runoff from Macklemore's older work, but hey, you know, honestly, what's even worse than that are the lyrics. Now, there are some high points here, lyrical high points that are kind of funny, kind of cute, like endearing, which has been the case with Macklemore's work in the past, but I feel like with no message to relay to his fans here or no cause to stand for on this record, it's almost like what low lyrical standards he had for himself in the past have just kind of gotten thrown out the window. Like on the opening bars to the song Willy Wonka, and the hook on this track, "Bitch, I'm Willy Wonka!" If that's not enough to make you hit skip, I don't know what is. I did. I was triggered. The song Intentions features this painfully cliched and gross set of guitar chords. Like it's supposed to be this really intimate, like cute song. The instrumental is so goddamn sugary. It sounds like he's rapping over some royalty-free YouTube music bed, which is really brave of Macklemore for him to be rapping over such a thing, by the way, but not as brave as these lyrics. Wow, he's really just acknowledging the plight of humanity. I want to be a feminist, but I'm still watching porno. I don't know if anyone has told Macklemore, but there is a whole institution of sex-positive feminism out there that, you know, may disagree with him. Macklemore, you know, not a feminist scholar. Who'd have thunk it? And while, again, I mentioned the song Fire Breather as being one track that has some pretty clever, witty, funny lyrics in it, but this line about the critics gentrifying Bed-Stuy, listen, I don't live there. I wouldn't be caught dead there. But it's almost like Macklemore portrays his critics as only being white or only being privileged, as if he doesn't have critics that are black. And while we're talking about gentrification, I mean, isn't he kind of gentrifying a whole genre here? On the song Over It, we have some really gross, disgusting, stalking your ex over social media bars. Kinda creepy. Very creepy, actually. And I just can't really stand the lyrical subject matter of the song Zara either. Like, this woman that he portrays himself with, oh, she's such a free spirit. She reads bell hooks and Cornel West and makes you quesadillas. For me, the most enjoyable and heartwarming moment on the entire record actually came in the shape of the very last track here, where lyrically I got this vibe where he was genuinely hurt, scarred, and kind of just stressed over the fact that he's experienced this rejection that came simultaneously with his growth, this very sudden growth in popularity, which is a problem that I know a lot of artists go through when they make that transition from underground to mainstream. Because while Macklemore may have changed a lot artistically since his earliest days as a rap artist, he as a person may feel like he's the same person and worthy of the same respect and likability as he was in the past. And this track convinced me that that is most likely the case, at least on a personal level, especially as he goes into a lot of bars about being a father and just the enjoyment that he gets out of that. And to be honest, I also enjoy the very funky Levitate. Has one of the better flows, some of the better verses on here. The drum beat on this thing and bass line is pretty much irresistible to my ears, though I am kind of annoyed by that one moment where he's impersonating this girl who he's meeting and she's like, oh, I just Googled you. And I also kind of enjoy the charismatic trap banger How to Play the Flute. But honestly, these 3 songs I just mentioned are really the only tracks on this entire record that I would return to. Like, there's so many subpar tracks on this thing, so many rip-off instrumentals, so many cringy bars. The flow is so spotty and inconsistent. The album doesn't really have a strong sonic concept to it. With Ryan Lewis out of the picture, Macklemore seems content to try to do anything and everything, and that's led to a series of tracks where he's kind of stepping outside of his comfort zone and failing, or delivering to listeners a lesser version of what he's done in the past. I'm feeling a strong 2 to a light 3 on this thing. Transition. Have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like, please subscribe, and please don't cry. Just leave an angry comment in the comments if you're angry. Over here next to my head is another Macklemore review, or you can click on the link to subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one forever.